From Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington. This afternoon, the Houston Astros played their first road game of the 2017 season as they kick off a 6-game road trip with the first of 3 here against the Seattle Mariners. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Astros Baseball. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And, Jeff, over the years, especially recently, you look through this series history, the Astros have had some good success at times here at Safeco Field.
They really have, and I think the change of venue right now is going to be good for these guys, maybe even the offense. It's a great batting eye here in Seattle. These guys like to swing the bat. Just change the vibe a little bit, maybe open up that offense.
Yeah, in the wins, especially, Seattle has been able to give up some runs to the Houston Astros offense.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. They go from Minute Maid Park, where they struggled a little bit, to a big ballpark in Safeco Field. Yes, they brought the gaps in a little bit, especially in left center field. But when these guys are going well, they love coming here and teeing off on some Seattle Mariner pitching. You see almost 6 runs a game when they are swinging the bats well. The losses, obviously, another story, but they really seem to bunch up some big numbers in those wins against these Seattle Mariners at a large ballpark.
Astros coming in with a record of 4-3, and Jose Altuve looking to get rolling. He's still looking for his first RBI this season. Why not get it on the road? Because he was unbelievable there last year.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say he got a couple of hits on the road last year. Outstanding numbers for the Road Warrior.
.376 average, highest in Major League Baseball in a dozen years since the guy called Ichiro roamed here at Safeco Field and put up a .405 number away from the home field that season. Charlie Morton ready to make his second start as an Astro, and he will kick things off with the same pitching matchup that we had on Wednesday night at Minute Maid Park, as Morton will be opposed by James Paxton. Astros baseball getting ready right around the corner. Is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Plummer and I talked about how good the Astros could be at Safeco Field. One red-hot Astro has especially good memories of the Emerald City. Julia Morales has more when we come back for First Pitch.
Day for the Mariners, the road opener for the Houston Astros. Always special to be a part of these, no matter which city you're in. But this happens to be a city that some of these Astros players really do enjoy visiting, and then the ballpark. They enjoy playing at this ballpark as well. It's a gorgeous ballpark, but it's huge. A cavernous outfield. However, that does not matter to one guy, George Springer, who's leading things off for the Astros today. He has good memories when he walks up to the plate right here at Safeco Field. So do we. So let's take it back to 2014. He was just in his second month of being in the majors, and he went on a tear. It was a 6-game stretch in May, going off, coming back from a minor injury right before that, actually. He homered that day, and then he added 5 more pretty quickly. You see the numbers, 417. He went deep 6 times, driving in 14, his OPS over 1,100. Now this Astros team, a completely different one and a really good one when Springer is seeing the ball well, and he started off 2017 with a bang, as you could say, playing the hero with a walk-off home run against these Seattle Mariners last week, but can also lead things off with homers as well. But for more on Springer and homers, I'm going to send out to the boys in the booth.
All right, Julia, fireworks abound here at Safeco Field as they get ready for the first pitch of their home opener. We'll take a look at the Houston Astros lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. First road game of the year. Good to see the Astros in their road grays for the first time. They'll face the lefty James Paxton with this lineup. George Springer will lead things off at the top. As always, he has been very productive there. Alex Bregman in the number 2 spot. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Carlos Beltran, 3 through 5. Evan Gattis starts behind the plate. Marwin Gonzalez in left field. Josh Reddick in right. And Yuli Gurriel hitting number 9 for the first time in his career.
Pretty special leadoff man for A.J. Hinch and these Houston Astros. He's a young man. We know he's a 5-tool player, but one of those tools is that power. A.J. Hinch likes the fact that he can put somebody that is threatening immediately to start off the ball game, and it's noticeable when you see those 3 leadoff home runs. Plenty more to come this season at the rate he's going right now. But he's also a guy who has very good strike zone discipline, so there are some attributes that are accustomed to that leadoff spot, which is seeing some pitches, getting on base, and providing speed. But at the same time, you make a mistake and leave a cookie out over the plate, he's going to crush it.
No player has ever hit 3 home runs as a leadoff hitter to lead off the game in his team's first 7 until George Springer did it this year. Today, he gets the chance to face the left-hander 28-year-old James Paxton.
James Paxton has good stuff, and we got to see him back in Minute Maid Park. He pitched extremely well. In talking to some of the Astros, they said that he had very good command, had a slight little cut on that fastball, which did a good job of getting in on the hands and getting up underneath the hands of a lot of right-handed hitters, allowing them not to barrel him up and look for them not to try and chase off the edges, force him back to the middle part of the zone. And hey, if he makes some mistakes, they love hitting here.
They do. We showed you that graphic a little while ago. Paxton on Wednesday with those 6 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. Only allowed a couple of doubles in that game at Minute Maid Park. Walked 1, struck out 5. That was the game that George Springer ended with a walk-off home run in the 13th inning. So Paxton ended up with a no decision. But he looked good that game. Live fastball, and you mentioned the cutter, kind of a new wrinkle. He added a little more last year.
Yeah, and it's tough for us to pick up here in the booth sometimes. Got a lot going on, but that late little cut is what kept these guys off balance, especially on that inside corner.
So we're underway with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that misses up and away, 1-0. Seattle, one of 5 teams with their home opener this afternoon or this evening. Springer, big rip, fouls one back. It's 1-1. Springer hit the first pitch he saw to lead off the bottom half of the first inning out of the park yesterday to right center field against Nathan Carnes. Turns out it was the only run allowed by Carnes in 5 2/3 innings. Astros would walk it off yesterday when Evan Gattis drew a bases-loaded walk in the bottom half of the 12th inning. 1-1 pitch is upstairs, 2-1.
Paxton a little bit different. You hope that some of the familiarity of just facing him a couple days ago helps out the Astros get the head out on that fastball, 96 miles an hour consistently, slider, curveball, changeup.
I guess it depended on who the pitcher was, but did you like seeing a guy 5 days after you just saw him?
I did. I wanted to see if he was going to maintain the same routine against me, the same approach. If he was going to try and pound me in, if he was successful, if he was going to stay there, then I could adjust a little bit quicker.
In the air, shallow right center field. Coming on, and Robbie Cano barely got out of the way as Mitch Haniger makes the play for the first out.
Yeah, that flight pattern all of a sudden got real full in shallow right field. Robbie Cano is pretty much letting Mitch Haniger know, you got to play around me.
So Springer retired for the first out here in the top half of the first. Alex Bregman digs in. Bregman started 6 of the 7 games in the homestand. See his numbers through the first 7, 2 of 12 against Seattle in that series. It's a called strike, says Mike Everett, the home plate umpire. Astros coming in with a 4-3 record. First time after 7 games they've had a winning record since the 2006 season. Meanwhile, Seattle comes in scuffling as much as anybody in baseball with a 1-6 mark and a devastating loss yesterday.
That was unbelievable what happened to them yesterday. You talk about a team that is reeling, had high expectations coming into the season, but to limp into their home opener the way that they are, wow.
They had a 9-3 lead going into the 9th inning and lost the game 10-7. Albert Pujols led off the inning with a home run, made it a 5-run game. Everyone's like, all right, no big deal. Next time he came up, he tied the game. That was a big deal. And then Cliff Pennington walked it off. We thought the roof would be open today. We had a little flyover in our pregame festivities. But now, as this inning continues here early on, we're starting to see the roof close at Safeco.
For me, it's pretty unique to see it happening right in the middle of an inning, because it is casting a shadow across the field as it moves over the field.
Foul tip caught by Zunino. Bregman a strikeout victim. Strikeout number 1 for Paxton.
97-mile-an-hour heater. Paxton looking pretty comfortable early on. Outside fastball strike percentage. You just saw one right there to get Alex Bregman on the swing and miss. But James Paxton working at 64.7%, highest last season. And again, the velocity tough to catch up to.
So he likes living, whether it's a righty or a lefty, with that fastball way and getting strikes.
And he kind of crossfires too a little bit, almost directly in the middle of the pitching rubber. But he'll step towards the Mariners' first base dugout when he releases the ball.
Jose Altuve with a count of 2-0. Altuve begins today with an average of 200. A little rough homestand, but if he does what he did in 2016, he'll be happy to be on the road right now. That's a called strike, even though Zunino didn't handle it cleanly. It's 2-1. We had little light showers during the morning, and that's why the roof was closed. And then just about half an hour before game time, 15 minutes before game time, they opened it up. But apparently, weather creeping back in. They're going to close Safeco Field's roof for now. 2-1 pitch on the ground. Cano to his left, gobbles it up, and a strong 1-2-3 inning for James Paxton. Mariners will bat in the bottom half. Celebrating its 40th anniversary of baseball will send this lineup at the Houston Astros today in their home opener. Gene Segura will lead things off at the top of the lineup. Mitch Haniger's off to a great start for the Mariners as he leads all rookies in a lot of categories. Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz struggling, Kyle Seager also, Danny Valencia, Leonis Martin, Mike Zunino, and Gerard Dyson.
Charlie Morton getting his second start in an Astro uniform and his second start against the Seattle Mariners. This is his first time pitching in Safeco Field. See the percentage of his pitch usage Wednesday against these Mariners. Heavy on that fastball. We keep talking about the velocity of 495 miles an hour. Has a very good heavy sinker, which leads to a high ground ball percentage.
Segura swings at the first pitch and fouls one away. 0-1. Segura and Haniger have been very good at the top of the Mariners lineup. Seattle's struggled to score runs so far this year. Same with Houston. 7 games in, Mariners have 22 runs, even though they picked up 9 scored runs yesterday in that game in Anaheim. Mike Everett called that last pitch a strike, and Gene Segura said, that's where the zone is today?
Yeah, I would have a question about that too. I can't blame Gene Segura, but good for Charlie Morton. Sinker baller getting a pitch like that. Let's go.
Scott Service is not happy with the zone after 2 pitches. There's got to be a little bit of angst. That's a loss yesterday that can really linger for a little while.
Oh, that one stings big time.
You go in with a 6-run lead and you've been scuffling, feel like you're going to come home on a good note for your home opener. Next thing you know, you give up 7 in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Casey Fiend and Edwin Diaz had most of the damage done against them. 0-2 the count. Morton's been pounding the zone against Segura, and Gene slashes one into his own dugout.
Get off me, baseball. Gives you a good idea of the run of Charlie Morton's fastball. Gene Segura could not get away from that pitch.
And Robinson Cano was not happy about having to duck out of the way in the dugout. Said the fair ball's that way.
You're trying to watch the AB and enjoy a ball game, and he's firing darts into your dugout.
Held off there. It's 1-2. Morton had a really good spring training. Carried that over to the last start. Segura was the one guy who got him for a 2-run home run the opposite way. And Charlie was pretty much in command of that game throughout. Final line.
Torrey.
First try of the year.
Right through the wickets on opening day. You know what that means? PFPs tomorrow, man.
PFPs.
You got to get your bomb patrol work in.
Sinker baller too. We could see a lot of those.
Got to get that scouting report. Good point.
She's got to know that.
Yep.
There was a time, I don't know if they still do it, but there was a time when there was a bonus for the Mariners ball girls for diving catches.
Ooh, I like it.
And you would wonder, why are they laying out for some of these? And then you found out.
Hey.
A little incentive program. Long at bat here by Segura after getting down 0-2. She doesn't seem to be phased at all by it. That's good. Good attitude to have. Shake it off.
She's laughing at Torrey right now. She's going, thank goodness it was her and not me.
Final line of that game against Seattle on Wednesday at Minute Maid Park. 6 innings of 5-hit, 2-run baseball. What did you like in that outing? What you saw out of Charlie? It seems to keep the ball with some heavy sink, keeps that ball moving low.
Velocity. And
yeah.
I mean, it was another a quality start for a Houston Astro pitcher, but he threw under 100 pitches, went 6 strong. He wasn't phased by much, continued to pound the strike zone, which he does here against Gene Segura. A lot of foul balls in that AB, but still continued to pound the zone, didn't fall behind.
Ended up being a lengthy at bat. He finally gets him on pitch number 9 of the AB. Soft grounder that Yuli Gurriel handled himself. That's the first out of the bottom of the first.
And the thing for me that you're going to get a team like this that is down like the Seattle Mariners, just continue to pound on them. Just go after them, attack them, don't give in or give them an opportunity to come up for breath.
Saw Haniger's numbers, 3 home runs in the first 7 games. Leads all AL rookies in that category. Tied for the league lead. Rookies or veterans all together in runs scored. So in a season where they don't have a lot of offense going, Haniger, the rookie, has been putting up some really good numbers. Similar to the Astros with Springer kind of carrying the offense, even though Houston doesn't have a lot of runs scored. Haniger, like Segura, coming over from the Arizona Diamondbacks in the offseason. And the count's 2-1 on the Seattle right fielder. Called strike on the outer half, 2-2.
Yeah, we talk about the sinker running in on right-handers. It also gets that outside corner pretty good. Just off the edge. But when the umpire sees that ball running back towards the plate, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt.
On the ground, foul past third base coach Maniac. Hey!
Good job, Tori. Redeem yourself.
That was good fielding position, wasn't it?
That was, yeah. She was anticipating the play. You see with the location of these pitches on our MD Anderson strike zone, get them looking on the outside corner, then tie him up with that same sinker on the inside corner.
Now the count's full. Just 2 batters in. First 2 Mariners hitters have done a good job working counts against Charlie Morton up to 15 pitches. It is noticeably cooler with the roof closed.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird. It's basically it's open air. Kind of like, you know, the air flows through here even when the roof's closed. But
it's not looking good outside the roof area. We have a pretty good view of downtown. It looks like the rain is coming in. Good shot of it.
Quest Field, you can see the top of the Seahawks football stadium right next door. That place gets nuts.
I thought it was the Seattle Sound Stadium. MLS, man, come on.
Come on now.
Let's go.
Seahawks. Quest Field, home of the 12th man.
Beast mode.
Beast mode. They don't mess around in that building.
No. It gets loud, too. Just had a Supercross over there the other day.
That's what I heard over the weekend. We just missed it, huh?
Yeah.
One of the great cities in America, Seattle, Washington.
It is.
And a called third strike on the outside corner. Haniger doesn't like it, but he is a strikeout victim. First for Charlie.
You don't have to like it, but Charlie Morton right now is working both sides of the plate with that fastball. And this is a great pitch on that outside corner, coming back nicely. As a hitter, it's tough. You see that pitch earlier, you know that that part of the strike zone is being called. You've got to defend against it, but you give up when you see a pitch move that much.
That was a great look at exactly what you talked about. How a hitter sees that pitch out of his hand, and it looks like a ball the whole way.
And then just comes tailing right back over the edge.
Here's Robinson Cano. Astros were able to handle him in the first series, but you're always concerned about this guy, and he sends one deep to center field. Springer will play it on one hop off the wall. Cano with another double here with 2 outs in the first inning.
Now that bat starting to come around for Robinson Cano. Got his first home run in Anaheim. Comes into this game and decides to attack early on a fastball that's on the inner third, 96 miles an hour. But when Robinson Cano is anticipating heater, you're not going to get it by him.
"12 seasons of 30 doubles or more for Robinson Cano. Just picked up his 3rd double of the year. So 2 outs, runner in scoring position. Here's Nelson Cruz. You can see what he did against Houston in that first series. Didn't do much better against the Angels as Morton misses away 1-0. When that series ended, you're like, man, it's good to see Nelson Cruz leave town before he gets hot. He still has not reached that point where he's been comfortable with his ABs.
And you want to keep it that way too. Keep it away from that barrel.
Overall, Seattle scoring just 22 runs in 7 games, and this may be a good reason why.
We talked about it in that opening series, a big 3 for Seattle. This is where the majority of their offense comes from, is the Cano-Cruz-Seager connection. Cano coming around a little bit, but Nelson Cruz, 2 RBIs. If you can keep these guys silent, you're doing a pretty good job. But it's reminiscent of what the Astros went through last year with the top part of their order. 1 through 4, pretty solid. But after that, if you could get around those guys and limit their damage, you have a real good chance of winning some ball games.
Counts 2-1 on Nelson Cruz.
It's not going to last forever, but you want it to last as long as it possibly can.
Astros and Mariners playing 7 of the first 10 games on the schedule this year. First of 3 here in Seattle. In the air, right center field. Springer will make the call. And that'll do it for Seattle in the first. So we're through 1 from Safeco Field on their opening day scoreless.
Score here at Safeco Field, and we're looking back to yesterday, a big win for the Astros, who made it a winning homestand with the W, and a lot of big swings happened. It's not how the game ended, it went into extras, but we wanted to mention how big Marwin Gonzalez's big swing was earlier in that game. Jake Marisnick brought this team back from another deficit to tie it up, to send this one into extras, a big swing for him. But the walk that was so big for Evan Gattis. It was his 3rd walk of the day. That's a career high for Evan Gattis, who's worked so hard on plate discipline, staying patient at the plate, coming through with a big RBI walk there for the win for the Astros yesterday. But so many storylines in that game, like I mentioned, guys, for a lot of these guys, and a lot of players that we maybe unsung heroes, I should say, during that game to make the game go on and to give them the opportunity to win that ball game, Todd.
It's a good point, Julia, as Carlos Correa fouls one off, because you could have a game where George Springer knocks in all the runs. It's great, but it wasn't really a quote-unquote team win. Yesterday you had Marwin Gonzalez tie the game. You had Jake Marisnick with the Astros down to the final 2 outs tie the game. And then you had Gattis walk it off.
It's kind of funny that it took Gattis 12 innings to get that 3rd walk. I'm just kidding.
I like that in Julia's post-game interview, he kind of knew that stat.
He knew it. It was great. We talk about strike zone discipline a lot with these Houston Astros, and it paid off.
Julia, he was pretty happy about that, right? Getting on base 5 times, including 3 walks. He seemed to know the numbers right away.
Yeah, and like AJ Hinch said in post game, he's been working on it for years now. I mean, that's something they've really spent a lot of time in the video room looking at balls and strikes. He's been a good bad ball hitter. He sends them out of the park. We've seen that, but for him to come through yesterday for the team in that fashion was a good story.
Carlos Correa lives on a base hit on the infield. It was a kick save by Paxton, and then Seager barehanded it but could not make the play in time.
Pretty close play. It looked like it got Paxton pretty good, but Correa really fighting to keep those hands inside the baseball. Hit it firmly up the middle. Just a massive left-handed pitcher and his big shoe in the way.
Good job by Seager. There was nothing else he could do. He tried to barehand it. Correa beats it out with an infield hit. Carlos has been on base now every game, all 8 of the Astros games so far. He's a leadoff base runner here in the second. And a big swing from Carlos Beltran, no contact.
Yeah.
See what Carlos has done. 7 for his last 19 after an 0 for 6 start.
The Astros may have already eclipsed their infield hits in one season this year, in his first 2 weeks of the season. I've never seen so many infield hits from this ball club.
Well, Beltran may have also.
Yeah.
He's got 3.
Speed kills.
2 of those have been as a lefty hitter against the shift, where he just hit a little soft ground ball down the third baseline. That one backs Carlos off the plate. Just underway on a Monday afternoon. Seattle, one of 5 teams playing their home opener today. Mariners are in town for 9 games. It's their only homestand of the month of April, believe it or not. All in the dirt, blocked by Zunino. Mariners have been away from home for 55 days, going back to spring training and then starting the season on the road, beginning with the Astros and moving to Anaheim.
It's incredible. I don't think I've seen too many schedules where a team only has 1 homestand in a month.
That is unusual. It is cool here in Seattle in the month of April, as we can attest to. Roof closed today. Night games tomorrow and Wednesday. Not supposed to get any warmer the rest of this series.
You're not a cold weather guy, are you?
You're learning that about me.
Well, a rumor had it. I think the scouting report said that you didn't enjoy some of the chillier weather, those trips to New York early in the season when you were with Tampa Bay. We're spoiling you with 50-degree weather here, I think.
Yeah, there's probably lots of photos you can dig up when you go to Tropicana Field
Really?
in a couple weeks. Yes.
Oh, right. We're going to have to get those.
Me in misery and cold weather. So I share that in common a little bit with Julia.
Probably not quite to the extent that Julia. I know it's early for you, becoming accustomed to her being our temperature gauge. But she gets chilly rather easily.
Ground ball to the third baseman. Seager gets to Cano for 1. Relay not in time. Cano does everything so smoothly, it almost looks nonchalant when he plays.
It almost looks like he doesn't care.
Right?
It's unbelievable. I was looking at Seager make a great play down the line, and Cano's just kind of sitting there waiting for the throw like, ho hum, another day.
He probably knew he didn't have a chance at Beltran, but that takes Casual to a whole new level.
But a great play by Seager down the line, getting Correa off the base pass.
Here's Evan Gattis. See what he's done against Paxton in his career. Off to a nice start. 357. That 1 RBI came in the bottom of the 12th yesterday to walk things off. Surely his hit was about how they've been working with Evan, you know, to try and be a little more disciplined at the plate. But that's tough when you have a guy who has hit his way into the major leagues. You know the backstory on Gattis.
Yep.
To all of a sudden be a guy who takes close pitches and gets used to that.
Yeah, say be patient. No, I go out there and I hammer baseballs. It's what my job is.
I have no batting gloves. I grab a club and I hit the ball as hard as I can.
Yeah, I just pretend it's an axe handle and I'm trying to just destroy the baseballs into sawdust. No, and it's tough too. You know, you tell a guy that you want him to be disciplined, yet at the same time you're trying to work him into the lineup. So as a player who doesn't play that often, you expand.
He expands there. Gattis did not have the ability to get to first, and when he had down to the bag, Beltran left the bag. A veteran mistake, uncharacteristically. Gaddis can't run on a strikeout with a runner on first, and he, for some reason, fooled Beltran.
No, that's been the rule for a very long time. Runner at first base, swing and miss in the dirt, you can't go. That was terrible.
Both teams with a hit early on. Astros with an unusual looking double play to end the top half of the second inning. Mariners have turned a major league best 14 double plays, but that was certainly of the unconventional variety.
And we've seen a lot of double plays turned against the Houston Astros. That might have been the most unique I've ever seen in my life.
14 double plays for Houston offensively, and we're playing in the 8th game of the year. It's almost 2 a game. Here's Kyle Seager to lead things off. Charlie Morton starts him off with a breaking ball for a called strike, 0-1. Seager, Danny Valencia, and Leonis Martin, 5, 6, 7 in the Seattle lineup. Talking to Charlie Morton yesterday about this start, he didn't necessarily know if it was an advantage or disadvantage to face the same team twice in a row. He really didn't necessarily know if it was an advantage or disadvantage to be in the American League, facing guys who don't know him very well, but he does like the fact that he gets to play American League style baseball and not have to worry about grabbing a bat.
So he is a pitcher in every sense of the word. Just doesn't want to worry about having to go out there and have an AB.
Seager goes around, and that is strikeout number 2, 3-pitch strikeout for Charlie Morton.
Last Wednesday, Charlie Morton against the Seattle Mariners in his Astros debut did a great job. The line score on the bottom tells you that's a quality win and a quality start. I apologize for that. Likes to go to that breaking ball in 2 strike counts, but does a great job like we're seeing again tonight with the fastball that sinks on both sides of the plate. Trying again to hold down these Mariners and keep them down.
Pitched well, just gave up that 2-run home run in the 5th inning. Only blemish on his card that day as he starts out Danny Valencia with a called strike. See what Valencia has done. He hasn't gotten rolling yet this season. You say that for a number of hitters on both of these teams. That's a good curveball. Comes in at 82. Everything is faster now. He used to be a 78, 79 mile an hour curveball guy. Fastball moved up a couple of ticks, and even the curveball has as well. Charlie's admittedly not a good hitter, and he said he would find himself thinking about the previous inning, sitting on the bench. He only pitched in the National League prior to this. Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh. a number of years with the Pirates, and said someone would remind him, hey, you have to get on deck. There's a swing and a miss. Valencia not even close to that 1-2 delivery.
But again, Charlie Morton, first pitch to Valencia, kind of up and in with that sinker, and then everything else away. So being able to work both sides of the plate benefits Charlie Morton, because it's not easy as a hitter. You're thinking inside, outside as far as location, which pitch you're going to go attack. He's got 3 or 4 pitches he can throw, but he also has just that one fastball that he's able to locate in 2 different places makes it tough.
Leonis Martin fouls one back to the screen, 0-1. You know, when Jeff Luhnow acquired Charlie Morton, everybody wondering what his ability would be because he's been injured so often, and Jeff was plain and saying this guy could be a guy who you can move it up to a quality spot in your rotation. And I think Morton's kind of the X factor for why the Astros rotation was maybe undervalued a little bit coming into the season.
It could be. It was an unknown. 4 starts last year for the Philadelphia Phillies and rehabbing the entire season to get back in shape. There you see the average velocities by pitch. That's what Todd is pointing out. The changeup is pretty firm. We just saw a little bit of a cutter around 88 miles an hour.
His stuff is nasty. Martin misses that. It's 1-2.
Yeah, and he's getting comfortable. And that might be a little bit frightening for some Mariners hitters, because if he gets comfortable and just goes ahead and sees what Evan Gattis is putting down, doesn't shake, just grabs the pitch and goes, could be a long afternoon.
Breaking ball in the dirt, 2-2.
And I was one of those guys. I saw the signing of Charlie Morton, and I got red flag jumped up, injury prone. And I thought the same thing as far as the velocity. Standard sinker baller, 88 to 90 miles an hour, good movement, but nothing that really blows your doors off. My doors are blown off now. He's got good velocity. He's showing good location right there. It's fantastic stuff. It's good to see Charlie Morton added to this rotation. Good scouting. Good sign so far for the Houston Astros. Mariners in 2 chances.
Still scoreless here, top of the 3rd. It is time to play Name That Astro. This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We give you some clues. We want you to tweet at us your best guess at Root Sports SW. Let's see. Is that U of H, Victoria? Hit 300 3 times, 300 or more. Stands on guard for thee. Well, that kind of gives it away. Todd, do you know it?
Man, I don't know if Todd knows it. I'm locked up right now.
Oh, you are too?
Yeah. Sounds so surprised.
You've got it, Julia?
Yes.
Of course she does.
Why, did she make them up?
No, she gets told.
Sometimes.
Here we go into the 3rd inning. Marwin Gonzalez takes the strike. 0-1. See what Marwin's done this year. 6 games, 6 RBIs. Big 2-run home run yesterday to tie the game at 3. Marwin Darwin hit that home run in the 7th inning off Travis Wood. Faces a lefty today in James Paxton. Paxton's only allowed an infield hit by Carlos Correa on a comebacker that hit off his foot. And a call strike. Both these starters look good early.
They do look good. Paxton is locating well again. Curveball that Marwin just laid off. Does a pretty good job of laying off. Breaking ball, breaking late down out of the zone.
Speaking of standing on guard for thee, Paxton from Vancouver, British Columbia, not too far to the north of Seattle. In the air to right field, Haniger doesn't have to move very far, puts it away for out number 1 here in the 3rd.
This is your local forecast here in Seattle. Currently it's 50 degrees, a little bit of a wind chill out there. Gets you at 47 degrees, high of 51. But the real forecast is Julia's, and that is exactly how she feels right now next to that dugout.
Oh, no. It is how I feel, yes.
Is it very cold down there?
It's cold now. It was fine when the roof was open. Well, the sun was out too, but for some reason, it changes everything when that roof is closed. It's chilly.
Do you have gloves?
I have some. They don't match, though.
Because that is a priority when you're freezing.
I don't have any. They don't match, so I didn't even.
I'm actually impressed that you're not completely bundled up.
Yeah, no, I've got several layers on. I've learned over my years.
It's a damp
traveling
cold,
with this
right?
team. It's a damp cold. You're right.
They're the gloves.
Yeah, you coordinated in that photo.
Well, in that photo, yes.
Stay on that photo.
Goodness.
Still too windy with the roof closed, huh?
It's just chilly right now. Tomorrow night.
Oh boy.
It's not going to warm up, is it?
No, it's going to be really cold. The players, you know, it's heated in there where they're sitting. Just so you know.
Reddick swings through that 2-2 delivery. Josh Reddick strikes out. Strikeout number 3 for James Paxton.
Yeah, we're battling up here with you, Julia.
With your space heater under your under your desk.
No comment.
The benches are heated, right?
Yes.
Here's Yuli Gurriel batting number 9 for the first time in his career. Still looking to get rolling here this season. Yuli off to a 2 for 21 start. And there's a call, strike, 0-2. Paxton's firing some strikes here. Working quickly. Yuli doesn't chase there. It's 1-2. And Paxton gets Gurriel for the final out here in the 3rd. 4 strikeout, 2 in that inning.
To the bottom of the third. The Coca-Cola Value Nights package scores you a game ticket, hot dog, soda, and popcorn, all for just $18. Get one of the best bargains at the ballpark for select Monday through Thursday games by visiting astros.com/Coke Value or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Charlie Morton back after a perfect second inning, and on today facing the Mariners again, A.J. Hinch said before the game that throwing strike one is going to be huge in this ballpark, especially because of the weather. Not an easy day to pitch or hit. So you have to be the aggressor, guys.
Well, Zunino aggressive in that at bat. First pitch swinging, base hit into left field. Second hit allowed by Charlie Morton.
Saw that from Zunino back in Minute Maid Park. He likes to be aggressive on the fastball early in the count. Again, not the nastiest sinker early in the count. Gets good movement on it, but tails back out over the middle of the plate, right into Zunino's barrel.
Last year, Mariners had the highest batting average and highest slugging percentage in baseball when swinging at the first pitch. Here's Gerard Dyson. 1 on, nobody out. He skips out of the way of that pitch. It's 1-0. Oh, Dyson got hit. Thought he got out of the way, but he was hit by that pitch. A.J. Hinch may want to take another look at this.
We're going to take another look at it. I don't think it got him.
It looked like he scooted out of the way, but do we have a definitive look?
Pretty good acting job. I like the little half limp down to first base. That was solid.
30-second clock's winding down. 5-4. Guess it got him. No challenge.
Shoelace, huh?
Yes.
I didn't really see it make contact with him.
No, it didn't look like much contact at all. So 2 on, nobody out. Top of the order. Here's Gene Segura. Segura is the guy that did damage against Morton back at Minute Maid Park. By the way, apologies to Texas A&M Aggie fans. Kyle Field, home of the 12th man. Don't want to discredit them.
How dare us.
I know, and I said West Field. They call theirs the home of the 12s. It's a little different, but they still get a nice NFL vibe there.
College football. Aggies definitely going to claim that 12th man now.
No doubt. No doubt. 0-1 pitch.
Ooh, good pitch.
Just misses inside. It's 1-1.
See what our MD Anderson strike zone says. Strike.
Seems like Everett's been giving that pitch just on the corner on the glove side for Morton. Maybe not the one in on right-hand hitters. Slashed foul into the crowd. What have you seen out of Gaddis this year? Have you seen him do a better job with pitches on the corners?
He has done a better job. When he's set up out there and relaxes and lets the ball come to him, he does a very good job of receiving the baseball. There was a lot of movement last year. He would almost anticipate ball in the dirt, it seemed like last year, because he was really leaning forward when the pitch was coming to home plate in 2016. This spring training with that arm injury a little bit, put him in the cages, wasn't getting much playing time, but it allowed him to practice a little more frequently. And it was good to see that they were doing a lot of work to maybe spread his feet out a little bit, have him get a little bit further down in that squat, creates less movement, but it also creates a little bit better lateral movement. And in him being a better receiver, he's also done a little bit better job in blocking the ball for me too.
2-2 count to the leadoff hitter Gene Segura. 2 on, nobody out. Grounded towards short. Correa to Altuve, and they can't turn it because Dyson got on Altuve in a hurry.
Dyson does run well. The ball not hit hard. It got in on the hands of Segura with that ground ball. Correa did everything he could to get it to Altuve soon enough to try and make the turn, but Dyson, the trail runner, also had a big lead. There might be a little bit of a vicinity rule question right here from Scott Service. I'm not sure he was entirely on the bag when he received that ball.
Well, they're going to review this. This could be a big call. If Altuve did not have that bag, it's then bases loaded and nobody out instead of first and third and 1 out. Jose was trying to skip out of the way of the sliding Dyson. Did he have the bag and the ball at the same time?
Watch the Tough to tell from that angle, but I wonder, depending on how this goes, if AJ decides to come out and maybe argue the slide, why not? But this is extremely close on this replays they're showing here at Safeco, and obviously the opening day fans feel that he was not in contact with the bag when he made the reception.
It's close. You need to see daylight between his foot and the bag. And I'm not sure if there's a definitive angle for that or not. One they showed here was pretty close to. Yeah, it was close. It was close. It's a big
and
call.
That's the problem. The fact you're saying it's close. Hopefully they feel the same way in New York, that it's close enough not to overturn. It wasn't close enough for me on the replay we're seeing here in the ballpark. That shows me definitively that there was space between Altuve's foot and the base when he had the ball. But again, they're going to be looking at this frame by frame back home, or back in New York. But isn't it crazy that the ball game now can be broken down and called on a frame by frame basis? Maintain the out.
Big.
I agree. I was a little worried if that runner had stayed on second base.
That's a game changer in this inning potentially. So instead of bases loaded, no outs, the call. We'll find out if it stands or it was confirmed, but it goes the Astros' way. It stays the way it is.
Good challenge, though.
Worth it. Certainly worth it. Yeah, Mitch Haniger due up. Then Robinson Cano behind him. 1 out, runners on the corners. Wasn't confirmed, it was stands. The call stands. Pitch on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Haniger, rookie right fielder. 3 home runs already in 7 games. Hit 5 last year with the Diamondbacks. Spent most of the year in the minor leagues, where he was their minor league player of the year. Line drive caught by Gurriel. Double play. He tags Segura for the final out of the inning. That was a bullet that turns into 2 outs.
Heck of a play. Yuli looking comfortable over there at first base with the snag and tag.
About the center field areas being popular at Minute Maid Park, they're also popular here at Safeco Field. Blummer, let's take another look at this play. Gene Segura left the game after this.
It's interesting. Couldn't really see anything right there. All I saw was Yuli Gurriel making a fantastic play. It might have been when he stopped and tried to get back to the bag. Cold afternoon here. Muscles tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, kind of an awkward stretch there where you're trying to avoid the tag. And Taylor Motter is the new shortstop for the Mariners. Seattle, like Houston, working with just 3 on the bench and 8-man bullpen. Here's George Springer. Fouls one back. It's 1-1. Springer flied out to right his first time up. By the way, in that name that Astro contest, Springer is trying to catch the guy who may be the name the Astro. As he has 12 leadoff home runs now. Second on the list, one ahead of him may be the guy we're looking for. 2-1 the count. Are you allowed to drop other hints? I don't know.
Hey, this is your show. You do whatever you want, Todd. No, go for it.
I'm the visitor. I'm getting, eventually I'll know all the rules. Strike. I'm kind of learning. This is my first name that Astro.
That's a good hint, though.
Like
as long as you don't fully give it away.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Here's some guesses. Ooh, it's a pretty good guess. That's a good guess. I like the commentary too. Awesome man. I like that. Haniger has trouble with that and goes down to his knee to make the play. They have these new LED lights here at Safeco Field. It's becoming more popular around baseball.
Good play. And Haniger getting traded over from the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is really his first appearance out here in this ballpark, much to the delight of James Paxton. But yeah, sometimes you're going to find yourself in tough angles.
Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman sends one to center field. Martin started in. Now he drifts back, and there's 2 away. 2 quick outs for James Paxton. He and Charlie Morton lucked into a pretty good one early on.
We're seeing good velocity. We're seeing good movement. We've seen a couple of good cutters from Paxton. Haven't really seen too many breaking balls get chased after by the Astros, but they're unable to square up that fastball so far. And Charlie's just got velocity and movement.
Jose Altuve grounded out to Cano his first time up. You look back to last year, Altuve started off the season in the month of April by batting .305. And then .345 in May, .420 in June, .354 in July. You get the idea. it kept going, and
he warms up.
He warms up. Off to a slow start here this year, batting below 200. You will rarely see that number on the board with Jose Altuve's name. Currently 194. 2-1 the count to the Astros second baseman.
Yeah, that pitch that Paxton throws 88, 89 miles an hour is listed as a slider, but it looks a little bit more like a cutter to these hitters. Not really a good depth and break to it, but just enough to get off the barrel and in on the hands.
And it seems like it's a cutter, and the difference is it doesn't have as much dive to it.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
It's a little more of a sideways movement to it as opposed to up and down.
There's a fastball away. 5-pitch walk to Jose Altuve, who flips the bat away, and he's a 2-out base runner. So Paxton issues his first walk. He struck out 4. Paxton walked 2 or fewer in 19 of his 20 starts last year and walked 1 Astro in 6 innings in his first start this year. Here's the only guy with a hit so far today for Houston, Carlos Correa. Correa hit one right back to the mound that hit off the foot of Paxton and went all the way to the third baseman Seager, who could not make the bare hand play in time. Strike 1. Altuve stole his 200th base of his career. That occurred in yesterday's game of the 8th inning. Salvador Perez was the opposing catcher. One of 7 Astros with 200 career steals. Call strike, 0-2. Broken bat into center field. Correa's now 2 for 2. Little single into center, and now Tuve goes to second.
You see a lot of pitchers with velocity on cold days try and get into the kitchen of hitters. And with that crossfire action, Paxton does get inside on Correa, but we talked about how he does staying inside the baseball. Does a good job right here. Sometimes you don't have to get the barrel on it to get those knocks. And right now, the Astros would do anything to get base runners on and create some pressure on that defense.
Here's Carlos Beltran, 2 on, 2 outs. We talked about Correa clearing his hands during the homestand. His lone home run was a pitch in that he cleared and hit deep onto the tracks down the left field line.
He does a very good job of it. He's conscious about it. He knows that the scouting reports say that about him, try and bust him in.
Beltran down to the count, 0-2.
But I just love that a young player with the talent level that Carlos Correa has, he's still in the cage, is trying to work on some of those imperfections where teams try to get after him. The only way to get him to change and get off that approach is to hammer that baseball. He's done it a couple times.
Oh, 2. Beltran tried to hold up, and he does. Zunino thought he was going to get strike number 3 there. Instead, it's 1-2.
A little more of a breaking ball from Paxton right there. Tough to lay off for Carlos Beltran. Beltran, I apologize, did check his swing. Good block by Zunino. We've seen him have some issues with balls in the dirt.
Another one in the dirt. It's 2-2. Astros have their first runner in scoring position. Jose Altuve on second base after a 2-out walk and a Carlos Correa single to center field. Backs Beltran off, and now the count's 3-2.
All right, here we go. 3-2, 2 out. Runners are going to be in motion.
Beltran has worked the count back from 0-2.
Get a good pitch to hit, find that gap, and let these guys run.
Swing and a miss, and a pitch down low in the dirt. Tagged by Zunino for the strikeout. 5 Ks for Paxton through 4.
Robinson Cano is a major factor in the Seattle Mariners lineup, and he will be for many years to come with that massive contract he just signed. But 5 RBIs yesterday in Anaheim, near Orange County, I guess. But that was his first home run of the season, going deep to center field over Trout's head. He continued the assault with a double into right field, driving in a couple runs, but a 5 RBI night again for Robinson Cano is a big evening. Try and keep him wrangled up here in Seattle.
He's done some damage to the Astros through the years, especially last year. As you take a look at today's league leaders presented by Houston Methodist, that was the 15th time that Robinson Cano had 5+ RBIs in a game. Albert Pujols is the active leader with 22. How about that? Carlos Beltran also with 15. Miggy Cabrera, Nelly Cruz, and Ryan Braun, the other 3 on that list. Cano with a double his first time up, one of 2 hits allowed by Charlie Morton. Nothing in 2. See, all 5 of his RBIs this year came in that Sunday game yesterday. Game in which Seattle led 9-3 in the 9th and lost 10-9 with a 7-run bottom of the 9th by the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim of Orange County. Down low, it's 1-2. Astros will see those Angels when they return home after this road trip. Seattle and Oakland on the docket with an off day on Thursday. If Cano hits the 30 double mark this year, he'll be one of just 2 players in the history of the game that have done it for 13 straight years. Picked up his 3rd double in the first inning. It would be just he and Stan Musial. Right now, he's one of 4 who have done it 12 consecutive years.
It's really good. I hope he does it against the rest of the American League West.
Chris Speaker and Honest Wagner did it for 12 years. Yeah, 25 RBIs last year against Houston pitching. Breaking ball. Gaddis wanted it. No call. 2-2.
That's a great pitch. Not sure what's going on behind home plate. It's catching the edges. If it's a baseball off, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But if it catches the edge, you got to be able to give that to the pitcher.
We've seen Everett give them the side of the plate where he's lined up, glove side, but we haven't seen him give the other side.
True, and he sets up. It looks like on that over that right shoulder of Evan Gaddis.
The old scorebook here on opening day.
That's why you wear it. Might have gotten in between. He is not happy. He's still lingering over there on the side outside the batter circle.
This is Robbie Cano's 4th year here in Seattle after 9 seasons with the Yankees.
Why did it take so long for the trainer to come out and check on their franchise player? Man.
He's not comfortable right now, that's for sure.
Well, you can see the shin guard. There's a space in between the pad he has on the top of the foot and the shin. And he pointed to the trainer and said, it hit me right in between. But Rob Manfred could speed up the game if we just forced all hitters to wear catcher's gear when they hit. He is not happy right now at all.
Now, Rick Griffin, the head athletic trainer, out there for an extended time. And now Cano, who does things at a leisurely pace anyhow, kind of steps back slowly towards the batter's box. See if he's got any wheels going down the line if he hits a ground ball.
See if Charlie tries to go back on that inside corner again, too.
Yeah, he does not want to see that same pitch. 2-2 the count. No, it's away, and he fouls it off.
Nice cold day, bone bruise. It's always nice. Used to always do that before we'd go on a road trip. And I'd just have this heartbeat in my ankle as we flew around the country. It was always fun.
How about those pitches, by the way?
Gosh. Just avoiding the middle part of the plate, the fat part, huh? Just grinding on the edges, trying to get the hitters to chase, foul some pitches off. Be a good time for that front door sinker. But he might be a little intimidated because that's the one that Cano doubled on first AB.
Breaking ball. He whistles foul into the first row of the crowd and back out. Robbie Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager. Bottom half of the fourth inning. Both teams with 2 hits in this game. And it misses inside, so Cano draws an extended at-bat walk. Plate appearance there. Just on a little cutter, looked like a little.
Yeah, tried to get him to swing over the top, down and in, but a good AB by Cano to get on base.
Like he kept going. He and Gaddis couldn't figure out what pitch they wanted to throw there on 3 and 2. Ended up yanking it out of the zone a little bit. So Cano on first base. Here's Nelson Cruz, 2 for 26 on the season with 11 strikeouts. Flied out to the center fielder George Springer in his first AB. Swings through that fastball, 95. Whatever Charlie Morton found last year with his delivery that allowed him to throw 94, 95, it has continued this season, which is a 2 to 2.5 mile an hour upswing from where he used to be. There's a foul tip, 0-2.
There's a changeup from Charlie Morton, 87 miles an hour.
Found out last start throwing that changeup with the circle change grip.
But again, even for a changeup, that's pretty firm.
That is firm. And that's what has to happen. If your miles per hour on your fastball go up a couple of notches, your changeup has to as well. Ace hit up the middle. Nelson Cruz with his 3rd hit of the season, bobbled by Springer, but no advance by Cano. And Robbie Cano and Nelson Cruz lead off with runners on first and second. Nobody out here in the 4th.
Get single game tickets for the 2017 season and watch your Astros take on top AL teams while enjoying exciting promotions like Big and Bright Friday nights, Keuchel's Corner, and the brand new Strozone. Visit Astros.com for more info or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Beard included.
Yeah, good crowds all weekend this past weekend.
Yeah.
30,000 plus for every game, 35,000 on Saturday for part of that Strozone and the Jose Altuve handshake bobblehead giveaway. Kyle Seager, the batter, he was one of 3 strikeout victims for Morton in that 2nd inning. Takes a pitch low and inside for a ball, 1-0. Well, Morton worked out of a 1st and 2nd no-out situation last inning, and now he'll have to try and do the same again here in the 4th. Down to the count, 2-0. In the air, shallow center. Springer coming on. Correa going out. Correa can't make the play. Bases will be loaded. Perfect spot between the Astros shortstop and center fielder.
You're not going to throw it out there much better than that, but I was pretty impressed with the fact that Carlos Correa almost had that ball. And I bet you on some of the replays, you're going to see he got a lot closer than a lot of us thought. Little drop shot out there in shallow center field, but Carlos Correa got a heck of a jump and almost made a phenomenal play. Wow. The bad news is you gave up a walk, base hit to the big three of the Seattle Mariners. Good news is nobody has scored, and you're facing some guys that are potential ground ball outs.
Defensively, the corners are in for the Astros. The middle stays at double play depth as Morton misses outside to Danny Valencia 1-0.
All Charlie's trying to do is limit damage. They limited damage last week against these Mariners in a bases loaded situation and ended up winning the game.
Pop up foul, that'll head out of play. Mariners really struggled in that opening series with runners in scoring position. See the three runners aboard: Cano, Cruz, and Seager. Charlie Morton up to 63 pitches here in the fourth. And now Morton ahead 1-2. Struck out Valencia swinging his first time up. He would love to get another repeat of that here.
He's doing a good job of getting ahead in the count by throwing that sinker inside, blowing him up. See if he tries to go with that slider curveball away.
He does, and he gets Valencia swinging. Big strikeout there for the first out. Bases remain loaded.
No, I completely agree. He needed the punch out right there. He has the stuff to go get it, which is nice. We saw it a lot in spring training, and here he needed it. Got it with the bases juice. Now a ground ball double play gets you out of it. It's going to be tough with Leonys Martin, who runs pretty well. But you're giving yourself a chance.
Astros got a line drive double play off the bat of Mitch Haniger to end the third. Martin with outstanding speed. You're right, it will be very tough to double him. Takes a pitch inside for a ball. He struck out looking his first time up.
Looking at some of the numbers from last year on Charlie Morton, and granted it was only 4 starts, but we talk about the sinker ball being a very good ground ball pitch. He actually got a ton of ground balls on the curveball. Almost 90% of the time the curveball was hit was on the ground.
In the air foul. It's 1-1. Which means good depth.
Down in the zone, getting guys to hit the top of the baseball.
Morton's trying to work through a second straight jam. Got through the third inning. Bases loaded, nobody out. Strikes out Valencia. Now he's 1-1 to Leonys Martin. There's that curveball. Big swing, no contact.
That was nicely done. Snaps it. Good pitch down in the zone. The reason you see a lot of hitters hit the top of the baseball is you saw it right there, swinging over the top. It's tough to get underneath that breaking ball if you've got a good one.
Threw that curveball almost 50% of the time to the Mariners in his last start. Can you double up here? Yes, you can. Mariners fans getting frustrated with their offense here. Bases loaded, and Morton gets back-to-back strikeouts.
Fans are frustrated. You know the hitters are frustrated. They continue to go out there and face great pitching, and Charlie Morton, even though he's in a dire spot with the bases juiced, throws a great breaking ball. And there you see the pitch usage this season on the left-hand side, left-handed batters; on the right-hand side, right-handed hitters. More fastballs because that sinker is running in on the hands of right-handed hitters. And now you see why he throws so many breaking balls. Gets that down and in, swing over the top, swing and miss type stuff.
Now after back-to-back strikeouts, Morton can bear down and get Zunino here and get through a bases-loaded situation with nobody out. Zunino singled on the first pitch he saw last time up. Takes a pitch up high for a ball, 1-0. This is a Mariners fan base very frustrated with their team after 1 week of play.
And this is a ball club that made some acquisitions and changes over the offseason and put themselves in the AL West mix with a lot of the conversations and a lot of analysts picking them to compete for the AL West title.
1 for 28 at one point, were the Mariners with runners in scoring position in that first series against the Astros. Curveball for a strike. 1-1.
It's a great pitch, great location. But again, Zunino, for me, in just the limited times we've been watching him, is a very fastball-oriented type hitter. Likes to attack early on those first pitch fastballs. That was a great pitch from Charlie Morton.
In the air to right field. Morton's going to get out of it as Reddick makes the catch. Bases loaded, nobody out, jam, and we're still scoreless through 4.
HOU by Toyota. Pitching matchup so far here early on in Safeco Field. James Paxton again going after these Astro hitters with the fastball, cutter, and slider combination. On the other hand, you've got Charlie Morton, who's shown up and still showing good velocity and movement with his fastball getting in on the hands. Battled out of a tough jam last inning with that fly out to Mike Zunino. Good strikeout stuff when he needs it. A lot of fun to watch Charlie Morton go out there and dot the strike zone.
Really impressive to see him get through that bottom half of the 4th inning. Now Evan Gattis will lead off the 5th. Gattis, Marwin Gonzalez, and Josh Reddick. Evan swings through at the first pitch and fouls it back. James Paxton so far in 2 starts against the Astros has gone 10 innings and allowed just 4 hits and no runs. One of those 4 hits was a double by Evan Gattis in his first start. Today the 2 hits are both from Carlos Correa. So the Astros really haven't been finding the barrel against this 28-year-old left-hander.
It's understandable considering how well he pitches with the fastball, the cutter. He's averaging 95 to 96 miles an hour on every fastball that's coming in there. That crossfire motion creates deception. Tries to show his back to the hitter as long as he can.
This ball is hammered, but well out in front. It's 2-2. There are people in Seattle, and it almost sounds sacrilegious when you have a guy like King Felix Hernandez, but there are people in Seattle who think that Paxton could be as good as any of their starters this year, including Felix and Iwakuma.
Could argue that case the first couple times we've seen him.
He's been really tough.
I mean, Chris Sale's on a different level, but this kid is pretty similar.
2-2 pitch, curveball in the air to left. Gerard Dyson drifts to his right, and there's 1 out here in the 5th. If you go back to the last time these 2 guys started, Paxton versus Charlie Morton, Paxton didn't give up any runs. Morton gave up the 2. That's the game that went 13 innings. In that game, the Astros bullpen, Yandel Gustave 3 and Brad Peacock 1, walked the bases loaded, then walked in a run.
Yep.
But then after that, it was basically the same 2 of the 3 guys that Morton just got through that last inning who were unable to add to that lead. That allowed George Springer to walk it off in the bottom of the 13th. There's Marwin Gonzalez. takes a pitch for a called strike. Marwin flied out to right his first time up.
The bomb he hit at home off of Travis Wood was a breaking ball. It was fun watching that replay. Did a good job of keeping the hands back and then barreling it up.
We thought coming into this season both teams would score a lot of runs, and that's probably going to be the case by the end of the year. But early on, both teams struggling around 3 runs per game. Seattle with 22 runs scored. They had 13 coming into yesterday. And the Astros with 21 runs scored. They had 16 coming into yesterday. So one team averaging just a shade over 3 runs a game, and Houston averaging exactly 3 runs a game. Just misses 2-2.
I just think it's interesting when you talk about the runs being scored, but you also talk about the power these guys bring. Seattle came into this game with 14 extra base hits. Astros only 17.
Yeah, it's been an unusual year in that Houston has a lot of home runs. The Astros have a lot of home runs, but not a lot of runs scored.
Yeah.
A lot of solo shots. Marwin hit a 2-run home run yesterday.
And it goes to the 3 leadoff home runs that George Springer has.
8 of the 10 have been solo shots thus far for Houston in 2017. 3-2 count on Marwin Gonzalez. 1 out here in the top half of the 5th inning. This was the 40th anniversary celebration on opening day here at Seattle Safeco Field. Gonzalez takes one in the dirt. He draws a walk. Second walk issued by Paxton. Walked Altuve in the 4th. Julia?
Hey, Todd. We got to tell our viewers what the Chevy Stroh poll is today. I want you to get on Twitter. Follow us at Root Sports SW, where you can vote in our Stroh poll. We're going to tell you the results later in the show. Which player that almost made it this year will make it into the 2018 Hall of Fame? It's already 2018. Trevor Hoffman, Vladimir Guerrero, Edgar Martinez. Oh, wait, it went away from me.
Roger Clemens.
Please vote, and we'll tell you who wins later.
Rocket was the last choice.
Thank you.
Well,
a couple more of my teammates on there. I know
was
Trevor Hoffman was real close.
Yep.
Vladimir Guerrero, how those 2 guys didn't get through shocks me.
yeah, I mean, wow. I think there's a little bit of a bias against closers.
Yes.
Trevor Hoffman for sure should be in there. Take a look at Josh Reddick down to the count, 0-1. I always thought Lee Smith was as dominant a closer in his day as there was, and he doesn't get much love from the Hall of Fame voters. Reddick upset with himself as if he's down to the count now, 0-2. I often wonder what Josh Reddick's thinking at the plate. He's pretty demonstrative with his emotions.
He's invested in every at bat. I love the intensity this guy's bringing, but he's also got a tough matchup. We know left on left, it's tough for Josh anyways, but Paxton is filthy.
Especially when he's ahead of the count. That pitch down low, diving back in is Marwin Gonzalez, beating the tag by Valencia.
Marwin extending that lead, but a good job fundamentally as far as where he slides back. You go to that outside corner. Much harder for the first baseman to get that tag down there and get across the bag to get to you. Well done.
By the way, we're getting a report on that other play at first base that ended the Mariners' 3rd inning. Gene Segura tried to dive back in at first base, and he ended up with a right hamstring sprain, so he left the game. 1-2 to Reddick. Called 3rd strike on the inside corner. Adam backing off. That is strikeout number 6 for James Paxton. People up here in the Pacific Northwest know who they would vote for in the Stroh poll.
Well, I tell you what, DHs might be in that same category as closers where they're not getting enough credit, but this guy put up some just massive numbers out of that DH role. Obviously a huge part of this Mariners organization, and some of those playoff runs they had. He was on that 2001 team, but he played extremely good. I don't think he was on that 2001 team. Might be a little dated on that, but What better guy to go out there and try and learn how to hit from was a guy like him. He had pop, but doubles machine.
Can Bogey get out of the way so we can see Edgar?
Bogey's hogging.
He's really taken up our view there. Tim Bogar, former Astros shortstop. 1-1 the count to Yuli Gurriel. 2 outs now and a runner on first. But yeah, Edgar, right-hand hitters, there weren't many like him. In the air to right field, and James Paxton is cruising along. He's through 5 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. It's 0-0 here at Safeco.
Even little tiny ones. No score here as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And Charlie Morton is already through 4 scoreless there. He's just one of the guys on this starting staff. They've all been so good so far this season. Their starter ERA leading the majors right around 2. Impressive stuff from all 5 of these guys who have come out. And Lance McCullers was good yesterday, guys, in that win. We talked a lot about what the guys did as far as the big swings go, but the pitching was good too. And Lance, 3 earned runs over 7 innings for him. Fastball command was good, changeup was good, and he told me after the game, you know, the way the starters are pitching right now is exactly what they expect from themselves. And they honestly they didn't like what they were hearing from the national media and things that were being said about this starting staff. They thought that they were very underrated in the way that they were being talked about. So he loves what he's seen from everybody, and I've heard that from really every starter on this staff. They're just competing against each other at this point, handing the ball over to one another and trying to outdo the guy in front of them, guys.
It's been fun to watch, Julia. Dallas Keuchel has set the tone, and Lance McCullers not far behind. And Charlie Morton, in his 2nd straight impressive start, he's been working through some trouble today. He stranded the bases loaded with nobody out last inning and has left 5 overall through 4 as he deals with Gerard Dyson here with a 2-1 count. You can tell Lance is from Tampa. Cody on.
Yeah, bitter cold.
There's a ball past Yuli Gurriel down the right field line. Josh Reddick will slide and make the stop, but with Dyson's speed, he's easily into second base.
Gurriel drawn in down there to defend the bunt, but a hanging off speed pitch. Dyson gets the head out nicely, turns on it, and like you said, once that ball gets past Gurriel down the line, the speed gets him into second base.
So with a runner on second, Taylor Motter will get his first at bat of the game. Motter came on in the 4th inning to replace Gene Segura. Taylor's had limited action so far this year, just a couple of ABs. He's a guy with a 3-man bench, very similar to Marwin Gonzalez, who can play anywhere for Scott Service and the Mariners. And he grounds one towards the middle. Correa's going to go to 3rd, and Bregman makes the tag.
How about that play by the Astros shortstop Carlos Correa?
That's crazy. Usually Dyson, guy who has his kind of speed, puts that baseball on his left, should get into third base nicely, but Carlos Correa playing right behind the base runner, gets that ground ball quickly. Bregman on the spot, good tag, great play. There's no way the shortstop normally is in playing that shallow on a right-handed hitter.
That was because of Dyson's speed. That's a very good play either way, but because of Dyson's speed, that's an exceptional play.
Yes.
Cuts down the runner on third for the first out, and now Motter dives back in. And it was similar, Blummer, to when a first baseman has to clear. He really had to clear to make that throw to third by going inside on the infield.
Yeah, he was playing right behind the base runner, Dyson. That's what allowed him to get that ground ball so quickly. If he's not in that position, he doesn't make that decision to go after the runner at third base at all. That was a great shot on the replay.
Because he was in that.
Yep.
Defensive.
He was holding on the runner basically at second base, and Gerard Dyson. Which in that situation, think about it. Runner at second base, nobody out. What's that hitter trying to do? Move the runner over. Therefore, the shift went the other way, allowing Correa to hold on the base runner and be in a position like that to get the runner at third base.
It was a risky play, but it's a play that is made by a guy who is supremely confident in his skills. And he really had to come in on that. That little hop allowed him just a little bit of a lane to throw. That Bregman made.
Being in that position, getting a good hop, that's what allowed him to do it, because it had to be a perfect play, like you were saying, because of the speed of Dyson.
Now the count's 1-1. See Motter on first base. Grounded, backhanded by Bregman, unavailable to make that play, unable to make that play, goes down the left field line. Throw into second, and a double for Mitch Haniger. So Haniger with a one-out double, sending Taylor Motter over to third, and once again Charlie Morton working through some trouble.
Just snuck down the line, much like Dyson's to the first base side. This one down the third base line, just over the bag and bouncing on that line as it gets past Bregman. It's a good thing it bounced off the wall right there, or else Motter might have had a shot to score on that.
You see Robinson Cano intentionally walked. No pitches issued anymore for the intentional walk. So A.J. Hinch said, we would rather not see you get a swing here. Bases are now loaded. And it'll be Nelson Cruz who will stride to the plate. Well, we mentioned Cruz, just 3 for 27 so far this year, 111 batting average, but he's up here in an RBI situation. He had 105 of them last year. But that's the strategy. You have an open base, left-hand hitter. Cano does some damage against the Astros.
Well, we talked about the woes of Nelson Cruz. Trying to compound them right here.
Morton able to get through a bases loaded no out situation last inning. Now he has a bases loaded 1 out situation. Infield is back. Open to turn 2.
Similar situation, but completely different because of the guy at the plate and the guy on deck.
Now it's 2-0.
Not a bad pitch, but Nelson Cruz does a great job of laying off.
Line drive, base hit to center field. Springer will get the ball back in. 2 runs are going to score. Cano to third. Nelson Cruz makes it a 2-0 Seattle lead with his 3rd and 4th RBIs of the year.
And only hold him down for so long. The more opportunities you give to a team, like these bases loaded situations that are popping up for the Houston Astros, the more opportunities they have to do what Nelson Cruz did right there. 2-0 count. Got a pitch up in the zone, not trying to do too much. Hits a bullet back up the middle.
And now another tough customer as Morton will try to limit the damage in the left-hand hitting Kyle Seager. Seager with 99 runs batted in last year on 30 home runs. singled in 2 at-bats so far today. Two doubles, an intentional walk, and a 2 RBI single so far this inning for Seattle. Blocked by Gaddis, 1-0.
Good job by Evan. Runner at third base. Keep that ball in front.
Next pitch for Charlie Morton will be his 85th of the game. And it's 1-1. Bullpen action for the first time this afternoon. Tony Sipp begins the throw in the Houston bullpen. Fans literally right on top of you out here at Safeco Field when you're warming up in either the home or visitors bullpen. There you see the crowd right behind Sipp. Inside, 2-1. Morton got into a hitter's count against Cruz, and Nelson hit a 2-0 pitch for a 2 RBI single. Now he's down 2-1 to Kyle Seager. Ground ball to Altuve would be about the best thing that could happen here for the Astros. Curveball called strike, 2-2. To right, Reddick back, makes the catch, tagging is Cano. He'll trot home easily. It's now a 3-0 Mariners lead on the sac fly by Kyle Seager.
Shows you how important it is to go from first to third on base hits like Robinson Cano did. Puts himself in scoring position, less than 2 outs. Get a pitch up in the zone if you're a hitter. Try and elevate to the outfield, and Seager did right there. Hit that ball pretty well. I actually thought Reddick made a great play on it to catch that ball on the fly.
Now here's Danny Valencia. Ground ball towards Correa. He backs up and makes the flip to Altuve. That'll do it, but Seattle scores the game's first 3 runs. 2 off the bat of Nelson Cruz. It's 3-0.
We now move on to the top of the 6th. Jose Altuve is due up this inning. We saw him get a couple of singles to the right side, finding a hole there on the right side of the infield, making an adjustment. That's what this game is all about, right? Well, he's tired of hitting into the defense, and here lately he's been chasing a little bit, so trying to find holes, and as they started to shift him up the middle, he took what they gave him. So fed up with not getting hits, if you can believe that, guys.
I can believe it. He'll bat third in this inning, Julia, as George Springer leads things off. He hits a ground ball in the first pitch. Taylor Motter. And there's one out. James Paxton has been very, very good in the 2 starts we've seen so far, limiting the Astros to 2 hits in the first start. So far, just 2 hits tonight. In case you're just getting home from work and maybe just joining us, Charlie Morton and James Paxton were locked into a scoreless battle through 4.5 innings, but M scored 3 in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Astros offense still a little quiet so far in 2017. Alex Bregman, the batter, he's 0 for 2. He had a double against Paxton in the first outing. These 2 teams met on Wednesday. And a called strike, 0-2. Astros had faced 4 consecutive left-handers, starting with James Paxton before Nathan Karn started yesterday for Kansas City against them. So facing Paxton again, that's now 5 of the last 6 games facing a left-handed pitcher. And they'll get one again tomorrow. And Joe Musgrove goes against Ariel Miranda. Curve ball. And a swing and a miss. Good breaking ball there for strikeout number 7.
Altuve coming up. Let's take a look at his forward spray chart. There's a heat map. Ball's in place since August 1st of 2016. The reason that's interesting is because September was a tough month of the year last year for Jose Altuve, and you see why. A lot of ground balls on that left side. We saw it here early on in April. A lot of ground balls going to that left side. That last series against Kansas City, we saw an actual shift implemented against Jose Altuve, and that's what allowed him to go the other way to get a couple of knocks. But when he is not going well, he's usually heavy on the pull side with the ground ball.
Seattle, who sees Altuve as much as anybody, more traditional, no shift today. But you saw how easily he handled that shift yesterday.
He does go the other way really well.
Chopper in front of the mound. Paxton has another easy inning. 1, 2, 3. Go the Astros in the 6th. To the bottom half of the 6th inning. Just 2 hits so far for the Astros offense. 2017 Coca-Cola Astros Buddies memberships are on sale now for only $25. Kids Up to 12 years old, get a voucher for 4 tickets to a select Astros game. Priority access to kids running the bases, exclusive player autograph sessions, and much more. Visit astros.com/buddies to get a Buddies membership for your kid today. New pitcher for the Astros, left-hander Tony Sipp.
Pitching a couple of games this season. Last time he was out there was on the 7th. In a third of an inning. Gave up 1 hit, 1 walk through 12 pitches.
2 of the next 3 hitters are lefties. Martin to lead things off, and Gerard Dyson due up third this inning. Those may be the only 3 Sipp sees, because after that it's it's Motter, right-hander, Haniger, right-hander, Cano, Cruz. So 3 of the 4 righties at the top of the lineup. A little delay here before the first pitch on the bottom half of the 6th inning. Now we're ready to go. Sipp comes on for Charlie Morton, who goes 5 innings in his 2nd start with the Astros. Charlie, who faced these same Mariners, went 6th the last time, and Sipp gets Martin swinging 0-1. Morton able to work through 1 bases loaded situation, but a different part of the lineup not able to do so the 2nd time around.
Yeah, I really think that was the cause. Nelson Cruz, perennial RBI guy, Seager backing him up. But yeah, 1 too many times.
So the final line is 5 innings for Morton, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. As he faced Seattle in back-to-back starts, allowed 5 total runs in 11 innings of work. See, Martin has struggled in his career against Sipp. Tony misses outside for a ball. It's 1-2. Michael Phillies is loose already in the bullpen, so if the Astros get to that top of the lineup for the Mariners, if more than 3 bat here in the inning, Phillies may see some action here in the 6th.
That'll be interesting. If Leonys Martin gets on, they may not let him pitch to Zunino, bring in the right-hander, but if he gets Leonys Martin, they take their shot.
Have to limit some damage here, down 3-0, and the Astros really not showing an ability early this season as we play game 8 of the year to put up big numbers offensively.
Got to get that offense going.
What do you do?
There's a lot of things you could do. I know that right now, in talking to these guys, are still positive. They know that they have a very good offensive team. It's just a matter of time before they break out, and they are giving a lot of credit to the opposing pitchers they see. But it's never too early to start some different. Knock it down. Oh. Cold night, hamstrings tighten up. You're not able to get down and knock that ball down. I wonder if that's Torrey again, who moved from the left field line to the right field line. Getting exposed.
Are they shifting?
It might be. I need some backup. But it's never too early in the season to try and mix it up. Everybody's seen Bull Durham where they're talking about sacrificing a chicken here and there to help things out.
Yeah.
We had road trips where they travel with all the bats in 1 bat bag. I took a bottle of Advil, full bottle, dumped it into the bag, shuffled it around, threw it on the plane, open it up in the next city, and it's just, chock full of Advil. And guys get a kick out of that. Sometimes just taking a giggle at yourself can break things up.
Oh, hammered foul.
Get out of the way.
You try and almost, at this point,
Yeah.
you try and have fun with it because it's weighing on some guys.
Well, you try and lighten it up because you're so serious and so intent every time you step into the box that, you can, a paralysis by analysis. You're thinking yourself into a slump. Lance Berkman had a great quote. The more relaxed he was, the better hitter he was because he was able to react. So guys are tight right now. You just try and find a way to loosen them up. Usually get a pitcher in a situation like this who grabs a bat, walks over to the bat rack, and takes swings at the bats trying to wake him up. Guys would set an alarm clock, plug it in, set an alarm clock at game time, to wake those bats up. But whatever it takes.
2-2 the count to Martin. Almost a foul tip strikeout, but stayed alive. He is just wearing down that.
Oh, we are not in mid-season form.
She flipped it into the crowd, though.
Well, she's an equal opportunity.
It's
a tough hop off the lip.
This ball was hit pretty hard.
Yeah, they don't drag the warning track in between innings either. tough surface. You're not going to get in front of it with those hands, though, are you? Just going Dorn on us with the old leg.
This one off the front of the dugout as we have an extended at bat now. Tony Sipp to Leonys Martin, 10 pitches in so far.
Got Roger Dorn playing down the line.
Nice.
Can't expect her to dive for it.
Like you said, it's a cold afternoon here in the Pacific Northwest. She gets another shot.
My gosh. Not even an effort on that one, Corey.
No. She's had enough.
She's going with the Bob. Was it Bob Uecker that said wait till it stops and then pick it up?
How to catch a knuckleball.
Yeah. We're going on ground ball. Casey Candell wants no part of it.
Either does she.
That's pretty obvious.
Tori is looking forward to Leonys Martin making it out or getting on base just to have his at bat over, because he is wearing that right field foul line area out. This one's fair and a base hit to right field. So a 12-pitch at bat for Leonys Martin. It ends with a base hit to right.
A lot of pitches up in the zone. And you could tell that the left-handed hitter, Leonys Martin, was seeing the ball pretty good.
Now here's Mike Zunino. How did that Advil in the batter's bag, in the bat bag, work? Putting the Advil in the bat bag, how did that work?
It worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
It actually snapped out of it, because it was kind of funny. Guys were getting mad at me because it wasn't the liquid gels, I guess, or whatever you call them. They were the more solid tablets.
Yep.
And bouncing around in the cargo area literally just broke them all to pieces and turned into a chalk. So everybody's bats with pine tar stuck to the handles. They were yelling at me. Maybe, you know, just change their focus of anger a little bit. They were able to go out there and play better, but it did help. I mean, at least for one game.
There you go. Try to get those sick bats healthy. Pitch inside. Soft Feliz warming up. There's a lefty on deck in Dyson, so you would think Sipp has this batter and the next, as Zunino singled in 2 at bats. 12-pitch at bat by Leonys Martin. That's his first career hit against Sipp in 11 at bats. And inside, 3-0. It's a difficult spring training for Tony Sipp. Hoping to find it here in the regular season. Only 2/3 of an inning work so far in his 2 appearances. Rio Green light, 3-1. We mentioned today is opening day here in Seattle, 40th anniversary of their 1977 opening season, 41st overall year of Mariners baseball. They had a guy from the first 10 years, second 10 years, third 10 years, and last 10 years throwing out the first pitches. Runner on the move, the throw by Gaddis not in time. Stolen base for Martin. Altuve kept the tag on him as Martin picks up his second steal of the season. He had 24 last year.
Running in a 3-1 count. Fastball count. Wow. That was a pretty spectacular finish to that slide.
Kind of tripped himself.
Yeah. So fast you get in your own way.
Drawing a smile from Altuve. So 3-2 to Zunino. Guys who threw out the pitches today for the Mariners: Rupert Jones, Harold Reynolds, Mark McLemore, and Willie Bloomquist. Guys who caught the first pitches, all Mariner stars too. Alvin Davis, Edgar Martinez, Jamie Moyer, and Dan Wilson. Part of their opening day festivities. Had the Astros line up first about just over half an hour before the first pitch. Line up on the third base side. 3-2 pitch upstairs, ball 4. Sipp frustrated with himself, and that's 2 runners on and nobody out.
Come get a behind-the-scenes look at Minute Maid Park. Learn all about the ballpark by visiting areas like the historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and more. For more info, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996 and schedule that tour today.
Astros maneuvering their defense now, anticipating Jarrod Dyson with great speed to put down a bunt here. First and second, nobody out. Top of the order due up, but it's Taylor Motter now, not Gene Segura. We'll see what the Mariners do. They are going to bunt, and the bunt's in front of the plate. Gaddis to third, nicely done. Evan Gaddis cutting down the lead runner on the fielder's choice on the bunt right in front of home plate.
Nice play by Evan. It's nice too with the runner at first and second. Obviously the force play is in play, but a little bit of a modified wheel play, because Carlos Correa over there in plenty of time with Alex Bregman cheating in. That's that wheel. Get the corners to crash. Then the middle infielders go to cover third and first base. Nice play.
Gaddis did a nice job avoiding that bat too. He almost stepped right on that bat. Tony Sipp out of the game. I'll tell you about the new pitcher next.
Brought to you by Kubota. Mike Hampton, the bullpen coach here for the Seattle Mariners, had himself a great season in 1997. You see the numbers on the bottom. Went 15-10 with that 3.83 ERA. Working with Detroit manager Brad Ausmus. Did a great job. That was a really good baseball team, and we are going to celebrate them this season. Bruce Fleming with that aggressive punch out on the swinging miss. But Hampy, one of those guys that transitioned from the Astrodome, pitched a little bit in Minute Maid Park. And with Dallas Keuchel pitching so well, kind of reminds us a little bit of what a good fielding left-handed pitcher can do for the Houston Astros. There's a good shot of the clinching moment. Tim Bogart in on the action there. Good times in Astros history.
Michael Feliz takes over. Taylor Motter rips one to left, and Marwin Gonzalez is back there to make the play. Hit hard, but at the Astros left fielder, it's Michael Feliz gets an out on one pitch. How about Hampton going the distance for that regular season clincher, clinching the division. Now the bullpen coach here in Seattle.
Another ex-teammate, great guy all the way around.
Talked about it in Minute Maid Park when he was there. One of the better fielders and better hitters ever as a pitcher. Ball into shallow right field, but it's going to find green grass for a base hit. Around third to score. Throw goes over third base. Dyson's going to come around after Zunino scores. Two-run score, one on the RBI by Haniger, the other on the overthrow.
Pitching has been relatively good. Defense has had its issues. Offense is still waiting to show up. but the normally reliant Josh Reddick airmails this one. Cold night, cold afternoon, I apologize. Sometimes a dry, cold baseball is tough to get the handle on. He was trying to get Dyson going to third, which would have taken a great play. Just an inside-out hit from Mitch Haniger, but creating issues with all these base runners via the walks and base hits.
Phillies was heading behind home plate thinking the throw might go there. That's why you did not see anybody in the picture on the overthrow at third. Runner on second now after the single and the error. It's a 5-0 Seattle lead. Here's Robinson Cano. Feliz appearing in his third game. That was the first hit allowed by Feliz of the season. Called strike, 1-1. 3 full innings of work now for Feliz in his third game. 1 hit, that Haniger single to right, no walks. He had been perfect prior to that base hit. 2 runners that scored were the responsibility of Tony Sipp. Now Feliz trying to get Cano on the ground, foul, 1-2. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was hit a little more her pace as you look at the numbers for Michael Feliz. 2 games this season.
Robinson Cano has faced Feliz twice in his career. He has 1 walk and 1 home run. Fouled back. The home run was a grand slam last season at Minute Maid Park. April 26th versus the Astros. On the ground to Altuve, and that'll do it for Seattle. But they tack on 2 more. We're through 6 innings. It's 5-0 Mariners. Sports is presented by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Part of the opening day festivities here at Safeco Field, just outside of the ballpark. The Soto area. The Lodo area. Lower downtown area here. Seattle, Washington. This is a great city. It's not always sunny, but it's a great city nonetheless.
Sounds like a great name for a TV show.
Pitch is ripped foul off the bat of Carlos Correa.
Tell you what, we've been spoiled coming up here. It's been all, you get to come up here in the early part of the season. Basically, there's summer for about a good 2 weeks. It's been gorgeous.
0-2. The Astros would like to see James Paxton get to his final pitch of the day because he has been dominant. He's thrown 92 pitches as we play here in the 7th. That misses inside. It's 1-2. So the good news is at some point Paxton has to leave the game. The other good news is the Astros have given up, excuse me, the Mariners have given up more runs after the 7th inning than any other team other than the Royals.
Yeah, I think after yesterday's experience, Scott Service might ask James Paxton to throw 150 pitches.
Past the diving Kyle Seager as he deflects it beyond Taylor Motter. And Carlos Correa is the only guy in this lineup with a hit today, and he has all 3 of them.
Thank goodness for him. It's a little greedy, but that's a good thing. It's a good number 2. 5 for his last 8. Stick starting to come around. Once you start getting those hits, start looking up on the scoreboard, you see that average jump a little bit, get a little more comfortable out there, start unloading on some mistakes and get those power numbers up too.
You were talking about how this thing gets turned around. Sometimes you look for one guy to lead the way, and why not the 22-year-old? He made a very good defensive play to cut down a runner, and he's 3 for 3 today. He saw 5 for his last 8. Correa starting to get on a roll. The last pitch to Beltran that missed was only the 6th time of 23 batters that Paxton failed to throw a strike on the first pitch. It's now 2-0. Just like last start, he has been in command today. Last start was 6 innings of 2-hit baseball against the Astros. Today, 6 plus this inning of 3-hit baseball. Make it 4-hit baseball. Carlos Beltran lines a single to left. Now the Astros have something going, down 5-0 in the 7th.
You're talking about Carlos Correa getting those knocks. We have always been talking about how important it is to have Carlos Beltran in the lineup and on this ball club. Help settle these kids down, but sometimes the sensei gets taught by the grasshopper. The kid ahead of the game, Carlos Correa grinding out these ABs. Carlos Beltran hitting behind him, deciding to get in on the act, and it's good to see the Astros threatening here, trying to answer back after a couple of innings where we've seen some squiggly numbers put on the board by the Seattle Mariners.
Mel Stoudemire with the visit.
Oh boy.
You mentioned grasshoppers, didn't you?
I did.
We're getting some Twitter activity. They're very excited to see.
Man, those things look healthy, don't they?
I was excited until I just saw that video. Now I'm not as
Dude,
excited.
that is nasty.
I have to admit I'm not as excited right now.
But you committed.
I've
been out. Me and Steve Sparks have been out.
You have been out from the start.
I want no part of that.
Julia, just part of her.
Oh, put it in your mouth.
Toasted grasshoppers are offered here for $4.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers.
When you make a frowny face
Those
as you're
are
putting it
not
in your
happy
mouth,
faces.
that's not a happy person.
Julia,
Is Julia with us?
Hey, we talk about getting the offense going, the lengths the teams will go.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to eat some grasshoppers to get the offense going.
I like it, but you won't.
Do it for the team.
You won't.
I paid my dues, man. I'm not eating an insect. Oh yeah, her face said, "Oh yeah, that's great."
Yeah. All right, we're going to try them tomorrow. That's going to be part of our broadcast tomorrow. Julia and I will try toasted grasshoppers tomorrow.
I will host the event. I will not participate.
That's part of our Astros After Dark for the first time this year.
Cannot wait.
Yeah. Evan Gattis, 1-0 count. There's a strike, 1-1. Gattis is struck out and flied out. Next pitch for James Paxton will be his 99th. We saw some bullpen action stirring here for the Mariners. In the air, popped up. Foul territory. Valencia, one away. Julia, did you see that video of the grasshoppers?
I see it.
Oh,
That does not look appetizing.
oh, that one just moved. Did you see that?
There's no way.
No,
That was
stop.
gross.
Don't even, Blummer. I said I would do it. I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to look at that video. I don't even think I want to look at it before I put it in my mouth. So.
We got you covered. I got half of them.
I'm serious. That one in there wiggled a little bit.
No. I think I told y'all, if it was covered in chocolate, it'd probably be easy for me. But I don't know.
Oh, man.
What did we get ourselves into?
Part of the gig. Here's Marwin Gonzalez taking a strike, 0-1. It doesn't look like they're going to sell a lot of those. Maybe I'm wrong.
They're sold out. They were
Come on.
sold out innings ago.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
the
God.
first
real?
things to go. The Ichiro, that's not even cool anymore. It's the grasshopper.
Really? They sold out today.
Yeah. Long time ago.
So we got to get the toasted grasshoppers early in the
Early.
game.
Oh,
So it may not be
man.
Astros after dark at that
We'll
point.
be in first in line.
Nothing in
What are
one.
we doing?
We're trying to have a good time as Marwin fouls one back. Astros will love a little rally. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
There are people on Twitter imploring you not to eat a grasshopper.
Okay, I feel a little bit better seeing the reaction.
Oh,
Is
she's
that a
got
glass of wine?
Yeah, you need to chase. You need a grasshopper chaser.
Where do you even begin with that?
I'd like to see a sommelier pair a grasshopper with a
Yeah,
the
what
right,
goes good with the grasshopper?
what's the right bouquet for the grasshopper?
What's the story behind it? That's what I want to know.
Swing and a miss, and Gonzalez goes down. It's a unique food item that has the visiting broadcast team talking about it, so that's what they're looking for, a
Tell
little
you what,
publicity.
you're going to need like a heavy cab or heavy Syrah to wash out that flavor. Jeez. That and to kill off the bacteria.
2 on, 2 outs. Here's Josh Reddick. This has not been an offensive display against Paxton. Nothing new there. In the air to left center field. It's slicing. Martin on the move, and he'll get there for the final out. Well, James Paxton with 7 4-hit shutout innings, and the Mariners lead 5-0. 7th inning stretch time at Safeco Field.
Bottom of the 7th here at Safeco Field. It's time to name that Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We gave you clues thanks to everyone who tweeted in their best guess at Root Sports SW. This Astro played 14 years in Houston. He was born in Melville, Canada. He hit .31 a couple of times, .303 in 1988. It's Terry Poole. You got a lot of correct guesses very quickly.
Yep.
Nicely done.
I think they're Googling.
Really good hitter.
No, nobody ever does that. Yeah, Terry was a very good hitter. How about spending 14 years with one team? It's kind of cool.
Doesn't happen much anymore. We're on to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Terry Poole are named that Astro today. Michael Phillies, who finished off the 6th inning, will begin the 7th facing Nelson Cruz. Cruz got the Mariners on the board with a 2 RBI single his last time up. Now a 5-0 game. Phillies down to the count 2-0. Is a called strike, 2-1. Charlie Morton started this game for Houston. He lasted 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, including the 2 off the bat of Cruz on a single. Tony Sipp was charged with 2 runs, 1 earned. And now Michael Phillies, as Cruz fouls one off the mask of Evan Gattis. It's 2-2. First home game for Seattle. Mariners coming in with a 1-6 record. Their lone win was a victory on Thursday at Minute Maid Park last week. That was a game where the Astros had Ariel Miranda, who's starting tomorrow, on the ropes in the 5th inning, and he got out of a bases loaded, no-out situation with Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa 2 up. Altuve grounded into a double play. They walked Correa and then got out of the inning. That was a big turning point in that game, and the only game the Mariners have won to this point, but they have a 5-0 lead here in the bottom half of the 7th. It's a collective thing too. It's not just one guy or 2 guys. Carlos Correa today is really the only guy swinging the bat well for the Astros. It has been a week plus 1 day offensive struggle so far for Houston coming out of the gates. That ball's ripped into right center field. Josh Reddick on his horse to cut it off, does so nicely. That ball had a chance to be extra bases. Good play by Reddick.
Nelson Cruz getting that swing back. 3rd hit on the afternoon. Back in the home confines.
What's going on Twitter?
They're saying do not eat it.
And I never said eat it. I just, hey, to each their own. She made a big girl decision.
Are they deep fried?
A couple of them didn't look alive.
When you
didn't look dead.
Roasted?
They are, yeah, roasted, right?
So I was going to say, how can they even survive being deep fried?
When you went back today to look at the concession area, there were long lines and they were sold out.
They were sold out, yeah.
Huh.
I heard that was seriously. I mean, within the first few innings.
If that's how you could get out of it too, you could just tell us they're sold out every night.
Do you think that they were invaded by grasshoppers and they're trying to get rid of them? Do you think they had a grasshopper problem?
Let's hope not. Nothing to do the count to Kyle Seager.
You know, in Texas, sometimes we get a lot of crickets, and that's one way to get rid of them. I don't know.
Eat them.
Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
I'm gonna have to investigate and find out the nutritional value of a grasshopper.
That'll be part of our research for our broadcast tomorrow. You were right, though. They're gluten-free. I think you said that the first time we heard about it.
And they're non-GMO. That's good news. We got that going for you guys.
1-2 the count to Seager. That'll be tomorrow night. Stay tuned for Julie Morales and myself. I'll try one.
And our producer, Carl Patterson.
Carl Patterson will try one or two. All right. This ball into right field. Well struck. Reddick looking up. It's off the wall. Cruz to second. Seager to second. Cruz to third. Couple of runners in scoring position against Michael Phillies.
A couple of guys we didn't see do much back in Houston are starting to swing the bats a little bit here in this first game.
You mentioned Cruz, 3 hits today. He had 2 and 25 at bats before today. Seager came in batting .130. He has 2 hits and 3 at bats. Now here's Danny Valencia with the infield in, already down 5-0. We mentioned how popular the center field area has been at Minute Maid Park for the first week. I'm not sure there's an area or a stadium that is more densely populated consistently than center field here at Safeco Field. And they jam-pack them in center field here.
Yeah, they do a very good job.
And there you go. It's a big party. Some of those people know what the score is. Most do not.
It's the over/under.
I go 25% no.
25% know it.
Know the score.
I'm taking the over. I'm going to give them a little more credit.
Okay.
Can't guarantee.
I mean, that
anything.
shot we saw, there was about 3 people watching the game. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's fouled back. It's 1-2. That's a fun area out there. I mean, look at that. The field's behind. You know, the field's. You can see the field. How many of those people are actually watching?
There's got to be some TV monitors out there.
Okay.
Maybe.
It is. It's a fun area. Been out there plenty of times. I'm sure Julia has too. Great stadium. Great little area. And that's kind of what Minute Maid Park now has.
Yep.
All those areas to watch baseball and enjoy conversing and having a beverage out in center field. 1-2 the count on Valencia. Feliz trying to work through a second and third no out situation. And now it's 2-2. Feliz, who had not allowed a hit before this outing, has allowed 3 so far in 2/3 of an inning. In the air to center field, well hit. Springer on the move. He's going to catch up with this. Both runners tag. Cruz will score. Seager to third. 6-0 Seattle on the sac fly by Valencia.
Feliz right now is not missing too many barrels. These Seattle Mariners are having some pretty comfortable ABs off of him.
Oh, we mentioned Seattle had struggled scoring runs, but they seem to have come out of it the last 2 days. A 9 spot yesterday in Anaheim and 6 so far here today. Prior to yesterday, they had 13 runs scored in their first 6 games. Here's Leonis Martin. When's that turnaround coming for the Houston offense? Hopefully sooner than later. Maybe the lucky Grasshoppers tomorrow will turn things around.
Tell you what, if they're lucky, you better go get some now.
They're sold out. Who can't?
I think that's just an excuse by Julia.
Julia does not lie, from what I understand. Pitches away, 1-1. 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. Somebody likes them. In the air, not that deep. Seager will tag. Reddick has a gun, and Reddick is going to be held. And a good decision. Reddick with a throw all the way in. Seager's held at third.
Good job by Reddick getting behind the baseball. This is what the Astros are accustomed to seeing, is that good right arm from Josh.
That's why he has the red light, right?
Yes, indeed.
Don't run on Reddick. Don't run on Springer. A lot of red lights in the Astros outfield. Swing and a miss from Zunino. Zunino's been on base twice, single and a walk, scored a run. M sent 6 batters to the plate in the 4th inning, 7 in the 5th, 6 more in the 6th. Now they've added another run here in the 7th. They've had a lot of runners on base in the middle innings. Even the 4th inning where they did not score, they had the bases loaded and nobody out. Now Phillies 1 pitch away from getting out of this with just 1 run scoring. Well, here's another guy. We talked about Davinsky, how he can save a bullpen. Going 4 innings yesterday. Phillies, another guy that can give you extended innings.
He definitely can. They stretched him out in spring, but he also did a similar job out of that bullpen last year, going multiple innings. Those guys are hard to come by.
It's a very difficult role.
Well, nobody wants it. It's one thing to be good at it, but it's also, you know, you're not going to get much recognition other than inside the clubhouse. If you bring to the arbitration table, hey, I threw multiple innings 8 times this season, you know, you're going to get a pat on the back from the GM, and then he's going to throw some numbers at you and say, that's awesome, but you don't have those beautiful saves or the holds.
And now he's trying to keep this a 6-0 game, looking for a comeback. But even if the Astros aren't able to score, he's trying to also limit the number of arms A.J. Hinch uses that could impact the rest of this series.
Certain guys have days off out there, and these guys like Phillies and Davinsky go out there and allow those guys to be shut down. We saw it with Gregerson and Giles back at home.
Popped up on the infield. Gurriel, it's foul territory. Gurriel and Gaddis. It's Gaddis, never took the mask off. The masked man makes the play for the final out. 6-0 Seattle.
Mariners leading the Astros, and it's time to reveal the winner of our Chevy Stro poll today. Thanks to all who voted. We asked you which player that almost made it this year will make it to the Hall of Fame next year. You say Roger Clemens with 39%, Carreras with 28, Hoffman 25, Edgar Martinez coming in last in our poll today.
That's an interesting poll.
It is very interesting.
Nobody with more Cy Youngs in the history of the game than the Rocket, Roger Clemens. I'm sure if the people here in Seattle had a vote, those numbers would look different.
Yes, indeed.
Edgar is beloved here in the Pacific Northwest as Dan Altavilla takes over here in the 8th inning. He will face Yuli Gurriel, batting 9th for the first time in his career, then George Springer and Alex Bregman. Astros looking for something offensively. They were completely shut down by James Paxton. Paxton with another great outing against the Astros with 7 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball. Gurriel to deep right field, going all the way back. Haniger, and this ball is off the top of the wall. Gurriel with a leadoff double in the top half of the 8th inning.
It's crazy. How many times have you seen it where the starter is dominating, leaves, bullpen comes in, all of a sudden the attitude changes a little bit, but Gurriel got a fastball up out of the zone. Altavilla throws hard, and Gurriel using some of that force to shoot that off the right field wall. Nice swing. You were yelling at him about the offense. Gurriel heard you.
See if the top of the order can keep things rolling. Here's George Springer looking for his first hit. Of the 4 hits allowed by Paxton, 3 were by Carlos Correa, 1 by Beltran. He shut down the rest of the lineup. The Astros don't see the Seattle Mariners after this series again until late June, which is fine for them because they're probably happy they don't have to see James Paxton for a while. Foul ball back to the screen. He's now gone 13 innings against them, allowed 6 hits and no runs as you look at the numbers of Dan Altavilla.
He averages 96 miles an hour on that fastball. Also has a power slider at 89. Pitched in 3 games against Houston already.
And a big swing and a miss there. Gets Springer on strikes. Altavilla jumped on the scene last year in his rookie year, making the jump from Double-A to the big leagues. Ended up having a great year with the Mariners. Look at Alex Bregman. 12 1/3 innings, 15 games, only 1 run allowed last year for Altavilla. Ball ripped into left field. Gurriel had to freeze on the line drive. He'll get to third. So Bregman with a base hit, and the Astros have something going here, down 6-0 in the 8th, 1st and 3rd with 1 out.
It's good to see Bregman getting the head out, but let's flash back to a young man. April 10th, 1989, first pitch he ever saw. Going off Otaka with the Kingdom, and at the time, that is not an easy thing to do. That was a deep part of that ballpark when that dome was around. He eventually learned that getting around the baseball and hooking him into that right field corner at the Kingdom was the right thing to do, and obviously the power numbers and ability showed through in his entire career, now in the Hall of Fame.
Griffey Jr., quite a career. He'll be here later on during this homestand, not here for opening day. First pitch to Altuve misses for a ball, 1-0.
Ken Griffey Jr. has his number retired. It's out there in left center field. How about on August 12th? Edgar Martinez will have his number retired.
Pitch inside, it's 2-0. Well, we mentioned it's been a little bit of a struggle for Seattle, especially yesterday, getting through the final few outs of a game.
Yeah, the Angels had them right where they want them. 6-run deficit. Get that bullpen in there and they tore it up. How about the Astros setting them up?
6 runs down. Time to go to work. 2-0 to Altuve. That was a tough pitch. 2-1. Seattle's won 3 of their last 4 home openers, including shutting out the Astros here in 2013, 3-0. Now it's away. It is 3-1 with Carlos Correa on deck.
Keep that line moving.
Correa has 3 hits today. This is going to be an uneasy crowd if Altavilla walks Altuve here. Even with a big 6-run lead. Wasn't that big yesterday. Inside, ball 4.
Got to question pitch selection in that situation. 6-run lead, couple runners on, opting for the slider instead of trying to throw the fastball. You got a lead like this, you want to challenge these guys and make them earn their way on. You don't want to allow them to walk their way on.
Altavilla and Zepchinski are the primary setup guys for Edwin Diaz. Diaz threw a lot of pitches yesterday in that loss. 23. We saw him throw 28 in the game at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, he might be suffering from a sore arm and a bruised ego.
Diaz gave up 3 runs. Casey Fiend gave up 4 runs yesterday in that 7-run ninth. Scott Service is thinking, is this happening again? Really? Here's Carlos Correa.
And I know the numbers don't dictate it, but when the opposing manager looks at that roster and that lineup that the Astros are throwing up there, they have to adjust to the team that is on that paper. Because on the paper, they are very good hitters. They may not be swinging the bats well now, but at some point, those guys are going to break out. But I guarantee you, Scott Service is not going, oh, these guys aren't in a good place, I could bring in whoever. He's still playing matchups and competing against a group of guys that have very good big league hitting numbers.
Correa looking for a 4-hit game. He has 1 in his career. Came against the Yankees on April 6th last year. He's down on the count, 0-2. Three singles today, 2 are on the infield, and 1 a flare in the center. Gurriel on third, Bregman on second, Altuve on first. Astros looking for the first run of the day, down 6-0. One and two. Away, 2-2. You can start to hear the murmuring here in Seattle. And Robinson Cano will visit Altavilla.
Bullpen has been the issue so far. MLB ranks. Those are a little inflated.
See if the Astros can add to those numbers here today. They need a big rally with 5 outs to work with. Correa stays alive. Altavilla pitched in the games Tuesday and Wednesday. Also got in the game Thursday. He pitched in 3 straight games in that series at Minute Maid Park. Called third strike. Ray didn't think so, but he goes down looking, and now there's 2 outs with the bases still loaded.
Conversations about the strike zone is that they were going to eliminate that pitch. And I think that's what Correa was counting on, is the lower part of the zone not being called.
Now Beltran pops one up with the bases loaded. Zunino gets called off by Seager. He puts it away, and Altavilla gets through a bases loaded 1-out situation. Still 6-0 Mariners. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Space Needle here in Seattle. In the distance over the sound. Views from the upper deck. You can see the whole downtown area as Yandel Gustave takes over for the Astros here in the bottom half of inning 8 in a 6-0 game.
Gustave, see his numbers from last season. That whip was well down. He's got some adjustments to be made to get back to those numbers. Fastball slider mix. Tough line for him is that 1 strikeout, 4 walks. Just that command to get back in the zone.
3 of them came in that one outing where he walked the bases loaded against these Mariners, a game that James Paxton started. Ended up allowing a run to score after he left the game. Peacock walked the batter, and then Brad worked through the rest of that inning. Peacock ended up being the winning pitcher as George Springer walked it off. But since that 3-0 start, Astros just 1-3 and down today 6-0. Gerard Dyson fouls one away. He's been hit by a pitch. He's doubled. Reached on a fielder's choice as he bunted one that turned into an out. Attempted sacrifice, and he scored a run. One ball and 1 strike. $44,856 today. Sellout crowd on opening day in Seattle. Gustave misses 2-1. Other teams with their opening day today. The New York Yankees were victorious in their home opener. Kansas City Royals, a team that Astros saw this weekend, they're opening up today. Also, the Cubs and the Giants will have their home openers. Tomorrow it'll be Toronto's turn, Cleveland's turn, and Miami's turn, leaving just one team that will still be on the road. Atlanta won't break into their new stadium until later on this week. 2-2 the count. In the air, playable. Gaddis doesn't like to take the mask off. 1 out here in the 8th.
Well, I think that mask that he is wearing is the hockey style mask, and there is a much better visibility out of that than the traditional mask. But he did a good job in that AB. It looked like Dyson got him on the backswing. This would be a good look at it. Popped up, backswing knocks you for a loop.
Ooh.
Yet you still have your wits about you to be able to take a peek up and make a play on a fly ball. Some extra credit on that play for Evan Gaddis.
That adds to the degree of difficulty for sure.
It really does.
You get smoked on the right side of your helmet by the bat.
Did a good job of catching that one in the middle. Probably saw 3 or 4 up there.
When Dyson bunted too, he had to avoid stepping on the bat to make the throw to third. He's had some obstacles to deal with today, has Evan Gaddis. Here's Taylor Motter. Motter came on after the 3rd inning. Gene Segura left the game with a little bit of tightness in his hamstring. See that Motter's looking for his first hit as a Mariner. Came over in an offseason deal with the Tampa Bay Rays. He pops one foul and out of play. Gustave on here in the 8th. Michael Feliz pitched 1 2/3 innings. Tony Sipp got 1 out in the 6th. And the previous 5 innings were Charlie Morton's. Morton gave up 3 runs. 2 runs, 1 earned charge to Sipp, and 1 run charge to Feliz. Now the count's 2-2 on Motter. Gurriel gives it a look, but it's in the crowd. Royals got shut out in their home opener today. The A's won that game 2-0. Oakland's off to a 4-4 start. Angels coming into today's play leading the American League West with that come from behind win yesterday. The team from Anaheim's 5-2 in the first week. Call third strike. Gustave gets Motter looking.
It's good location on that fastball from Yandel Gustave. Motter knew it.
Here's Mitch Haniger, off to a really nice start for the Mariners. Very important spot in this lineup. Number 2 hitter in front of Cano and Cruz. Gustave starts him off with a called strike on the breaking ball. Oh, when Yandel's throwing strikes, he's been effective. And he does so again, 0-2. "13 pitches so far for Gustave, 9 for strikes. Correa. And a 1-2-3 inning for Yandel Gustave. We head to the 9th. Mariners lead 6-0.
Move to the 9th. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. MLB.TV Premium gives you great picture quality and a free at-bat premium subscription, so you can watch every out-of-market spring training and regular season game live everywhere on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Todd.
All right, Julia, 9th inning baseball. Mariners lead 6-0. Don't forget, coming up on our Astros post-game show, Kevin Eschenfelder, Mike Stanton breaking down today's game. Not a lot to break down on the offensive end for the Astros. Charlie Morton got through some trouble until the 5th. He escaped some situations, including a bases loaded no-out opportunity for Seattle in the 4th, and Carlos Correa with a 3-hit game. Julia will be getting interviews and reactions from the Astros clubhouse. New pitcher for Seattle is Evan Scribner coming on here in the 9th. Scribner had gone 13 appearances consecutively as a Mariner without allowing a run going back to last season until we jinxed him back at Minute Maid Park.
Got him.
Got him. Couple of runs allowed. Only time he's allowed runs as a Mariner. He'll face Evan Gattis, and Gattis swings and fouls one just to our right and below us, 0-1. Evan looking for his first hit. Astros have 6 hits. 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. Only 2 in the first 6 innings. And there's a strike. 0-2.
Scribner is a fastball, slider, curveball. Young man out of the bullpen.
Line drives. Cano drops it, but he's got plenty of time. And he makes the play. Goes as a 4-3 instead of a line out 4. One away here in the ninth.
2017 Houston Astros season tickets are on sale now. Enjoy some of the best seats at Minute Maid Park. Save money and get great benefits all season. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/tickets. Grab those seats.
First road game of the year, afternoon contest here in Seattle, followed by a night game. Usually that first road trip, Lumber, in your experiences, that first day game with the night game the next day, a chance for guys to get together for a little meals. That usually what happened.
Yeah, we can call it a meal. Yeah, there might be a little extracurricular activities going on tonight, depending on which group you're going out with. But everybody has their even within these teams, you're going to have these little cliques of 4 or 5 guys that go out. But I'm sure tonight these guys are looking forward to it. We talked about how nice Seattle is. There's some great restaurants around here. We're in a great hotel, but plenty of opportunities for these guys to get out on the road, maybe talk a little bit, hang out a little bit, unplug, have a nice meal, get back, get themselves a nice rest, sleep in tomorrow.
Sleep in. Well, that's the thing. You're in spring training, but it's almost all day baseball where you're reporting first thing in the morning.
Yep.
A lot of guys have their families down there in the West Palm Beach area. So now it's the first time where you're really together as a group with not many distractions.
Yeah, ball players are very routine oriented, and spring training is interesting because it's almost like a 9-to-5 job. You're showing up early, you're working out, getting your practice in, play the game, and you're going home by 5 o'clock, and you get a chance to have that meal at night. But the season starts and everything goes out of whack. All of a sudden you're playing night games, trying to get that sleep cycle right. But a road trip, after struggling a little bit, I thought their offense might show up here in Seattle. But tonight's going to be a good night for these guys. They're going to be able to go out and have a good time.
Bad news is 21 runs scored as they played the 8th game of the year. Good news is, even if they don't come from behind in this game, they're 4-4.
Yes. Yeah, their pitching has saved them big time.
21 runs in 8 games could be easily a 1-7 kind of start.
Yeah, you'd much rather, even as bad as this game is going, you'd much rather be in the Astros position than the Seattle Mariners position.
Up the middle, and somehow Scribner caught that. Not even sure if he saw that ball go into his glove. There's 2 outs.
Today's player of the game is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and yes, it will be a Seattle Mariner. James Paxton has done a great job against the Houston Astros this season in 2 starts, 13 shutout innings. Pitching extremely well. Gave up 4 hits today, no earned runs. 8 punch-outs of Houston Astros pitching. Continues to pound that zone with the fastball and get the swing and miss on that slider.
So Astros down to their final out. Josh Reddick against Scribner. Reddick rips one into the shift. Cano puts it away. And for the 4th time in 5 years, the Mariners win their home opener. As they shut out the Astros, they did the same against Houston back in 2013 on their home opener. And now they do the same here in their first home game of 2017. Seattle 6, Houston nothing. Mariners are now 2-6 on the year, and the Astros drop back to an even 500 at 4-4. Post-game show right around the corner. Stay tuned for that.